Welcome to this second video that will discuss how notebooks are used for lecture materials. This is the second video within the 01 Jupyter Lecture notebook, lecture notebook. And in this very short video that will go here, we'll replace this particular link when I'm done creating it. This is one from when I first ran the class, and I'm redoing all the material. So all lecture content for each module is prepared with notebooks. In fact, everything's notebooks. Basically, notebooks are for everything in this class. So how will notebooks be used? Pretty much for everything, lectures and assignments. So an important thing to know about how you edit and use your notebooks is how to save them. You need to make sure, so if I click here, notice where my cursor is over here on the file browser, that I need to save them in a certain way in my directory on the hub in order for everything to be saved. So I scrolled up a little bit there, excuse me. So I'm going to go to the main root directory. When you first log into the hub, you should see a work directory. You need to go into work, create a Math 1376 directory. You click on this button right here to make a new folder, and you'll name it Math 1376. Now I already have one, so if I try to do that, you'll notice I get a rename error because that already exists. So I already have that, so I'm going to delete it. I right click and I have options for what to do, and in fact I'm going to delete. Now watch, when I delete anything on the server, it's gone forever. It's gone for good. I cannot recover it. So if you accidentally delete something, that's going to be problematic. I can't recover it for you. So you don't want to accidentally delete things. Now you're told, hey, do you want to permanently delete? So then you need to click this on purpose. So you shouldn't accidentally delete anything actually. Just make sure when you delete something, you really want it gone, because it will be gone. It's gone for good. But anyway, now that I'm within the work directory and I'm within a subdirectory of work, anything I put in here stays. And I have my subdirectories all ready for this class. And I'll give you the material as I'm still refining and finishing the videos and everything for the material as the semester will go along. You'll get access to more of this material. And so here you're going to have two notebooks that you put within the 01-Jupyter subdirectory. You should put all the material in there so that if you ask me any questions, so that I can try to help you or look at something you're doing on the server, I know where to go find it on your account. It's easy for me to access and give you feedback. Of course, you will submit this as well for me to grade. So now when you're done navigating, you use this to navigate, you can click on the file browser again to minimize it and give yourself more visual room to work with the notebook. So that is where you should put everything so that they're saved within work, within subdirectories of work, and you should have a Math 1376 subdirectory, a folder within there, and then you should create folders named for the modules within that Math 1376 folder. Now, the lecture notebooks have videos like the one you're watching now embedded in them, as well as embedded activities. Those activities will be 50% of your grade. Now, how do I compute the grades for the activities? The activity score for each notebook is simply computed as the percentage of completed activities. What makes an activity complete? Follow all the instructions. Any code you are asked to write should run to completion. Any markdown cells you are asked to make to contain an analysis or interpretation of results should be present and should contain an analysis or interpretation of results. Your activity credit for this course is computed as the unweighted, meaning the simple average of all lecture notebook activity scores. Activities will be highlighted in cyan. The content of all activities should be put within the two cyan borders so that I know where to grade it. I will not grade material that's outside of the cyan borders. So if you want it as part of an activity, everything should be within those cyan borders. In order to check that you've done all the activities, I provide links in the notebook contents area where you can click on the link and check to see before you turn it in, have you done the activities, and it will take you straight to the activity. Now, this activity, I'll actually show you how to do, at least part of it, and I'll often show you either how to do part of an activity or have an instructor-led activity that's very similar to the one you're asked to do. When we start getting into code in the second module starting next week, then I will actually have some instructor-led activities that I do that are very similar to the ones you have to do on your own. For this one, we start with reading the instructions carefully. We're asked to do two things. first create a markdown cell directly below this cell. So if you click here, right, here's this first cell, here's this second cell that ends the activity. So this, I'm trying to do a markdown cell directly below this current markdown cell. And I wanted to put it before this cyan border, just emphasize that. And in that, I want to do the following. I want to put in some text in a list format using bullet points. You can see how I do bullet points here, for instance. In the cell above, you just go into it and you say, oh, there's some dashes. And in fact, I don't even need the spaces there. I don't know why I have those. If I just have the dashes, I create bullet points. Indenting will create sub-lists within them. And you'll see there's instances of this in certain places, like here. Here's where I have those dashes. And then when I indent and I add additional dashes, that's how I create a sub-list. So there's a bullet point and here's a sub-bullet point list. So you can look through everything in the notebook for examples and ideas of what to write. And you need to have a list format. And then you also need to include some italicized, bold-faced, and strike-through fonts so that you can get used to doing some stylized markdown. So that's the first thing you have to do. Let's go ahead and do that now. Now, if you look here, there's this plus button. You can insert a cell below. You always have the option to insert a cell below. How do you insert a cell above? Well, they don't have a direct option for you to do that here, but I'll tell you how to do it. I can either click below if I want to put a cell above this, it will put it before this one, or I can put a cell below this one, which will put it before that one. The way I can do that is also with keyboard shortcuts. If I press the A button, when I'm just in the select but not edit mode, like I am now, if I press A, I put a code cell above. If I'm here and I press B on the keyboard, I put a code cell below. Now the default is always a code cell. So I'll just also do it with this button here. There. See, I'm just adding more and more cells. If I want to get rid of them, I can press the X key. X, right? I'm just getting rid of these. So I'll do that again. So I removed all the cells. Now I'm going to press the A key because I'm here, and I can always move a cell. There's ways you could do that. I'll let you play around with this. You can look at looking at edit, like move cells up or move cells down, right? So if I move it up, now it's up here. I don't like that. I want to move it down, move cells down. There you go. Now, I don't want this to be a code cell. I want it to be a markdown cell. So you can always come here and select to make it markdown. Another way is to, see, I'll just do that again because I didn't say what I was doing. I'll switch it back to a code cell. I'm just going to walk you through what I'm doing. So when it's selected like this, it's got that blue outline. The first thing you do, press escape so that you're not selected, so you don't have that blue border outline. It's selected, but it's not in edit mode. Press M for markdown. Notice how that changed to markdown when I press the M key on my keyboard. Now I can put markdown in there. How do I turn it back into a code cell with a hotkey? Again, you don't have to use hotkeys. You could just come here and select code and markdown and change all your codes manually like that. Or I could press, it's a little strange, Y, the Y key. Why is it the Y key? I don't have a good answer for that. It's just the Y key. But I want a markdown cell. So here we go. Now I want to make some, you can make a grocery list. I need bananas. Making typos as well. And then I could, as part of my list, she wants some apples. And who wants to have, maybe you want to act like you make a mistake, or maybe we'll do something like this. Some pears, grapes. So I don't care what you add, right? You can do anything silly here because I'm not telling you what to write. I'm just saying write something. Make a list. I made my list and I used different fonts. I used italicized, bold-faced, and strike-through fonts. So that's it. You do your own thing. Now you could see what happens if you put a whole bunch of spaces in between. How does the list look? It still looks the same. What happens if you get rid of all the blank lines between things? It's a little bit more condensed. So look at that again. See the spacing there? Look what happens as soon as I add even one blank line between them. It's a little bit more white space. I generally prefer to do that because it makes things more readable. It's easier to read. And if you want to condense it, though, for whatever reason, just get rid of it. But you can add, no matter how many blank lines you add, as long as you add one, you'll get just one visual space when it renders the markdown cell. So that's the first thing to do. You do something like this, you could put whatever you want in there. You shouldn't write what I write. Just write something more sensible maybe, or write nonsense. I don't really care. I'm just asking you to put in text in a list format with some italicized, boldface, and strike-through fonts. That completes the first part of this activity. The second part is to create a code cell directly below this markdown cell. So I can press the B key or that button to insert that code cell below. Now I want it to be a code cell, so I don't want to change the type. The default is always a code cell, so that's great. And then I want to compute 7 times 5 in that code cell. So I do 7 times 5, and that's it. That completes this activity. So I'm not asking you to do much. It's a pretty easy way to get some credit on this first notebook. I'm going to select both of those and press the X key to get rid of them. You should keep them in there because I need to see it to grade it. So you keep that in there. If you accidentally delete stuff and you want to undo, I can undo my cell operation, because that was a cell operation of deleting them, and look, it brought them back. That was the undo, which is, again, all that and there's hotkeys. They tell you hotkeys in here as well to use. So you can edit around and play with that. Weekly assignments are also 50% of your grade. You will have roughly twice as many lecture notebooks as weekly assignments. So even though they both count for 50% of your grade, each assignment counts more than a lecture notebook towards your total grade. I am providing a grace period for assignments because there's more autonomy that's required to do those. And I'll also have office hours available for both the assignments and the lecture notebooks. I'll have a weekly office hour for you to ask me questions on any of the material you see in this class. So that's it for this video. The next one will discuss the kernels and cell execution.